Hey there, my friend. I'm glad you're here with me today. Let's sit down for a while, just you and me, and share a story. A story that's been on my mind lately. One that feels like it holds a quiet kind of wisdom. I don't know about you, but sometimes I find myself tangled up in worries about things I can't control. And this tale, well, it's like a gentle nudge to let go. So, come closer. Imagine we're sitting under a big old tree, the kind that's seen 100 stories like this one. And let me tell you about a man who lived long ago in a bustling town far away. Picture this, a man who had everything. He wasn't born with a silver spoon, no, he worked for it. Day after day, he traded goods with distant lands, haggled in busy markets, and poured his heart into every deal. His hands were rough, his back bent from the weight of his labor, but over time, his hard work paid off. He became one of the wealthiest merchants in his town. A grand haveli rose up around him, a palace of sorts, filled with laughter, family, and the kind of comfort most only dream of. Life was good. He'd walk through his courtyards, gold jangling in his pockets, and feel content. Or so he thought. One day, a relative came to visit from another town. They sat together over a meal, the kind where you talk about everything and nothing, you know. And in the middle of their chatter, this relative mentioned something in passing. "Oh, did you hear? The biggest merchant in our town passed away. Poor soul, left behind mountains of wealth, all just sitting there." It was a casual remark, the kind you'd brush off and move on from. But for our man, those words landed like a stone in still water. Ripples started spreading through his mind. Wait, he thought, one day I'll be gone too, just like that merchant. And all of this, my haveli, my gold, my family, will stay behind. What's the point of it all? From that moment, something shifted inside him. He couldn't shake the thought of death. It followed him like a shadow, creeping into his quiet moments, whispering in his ear when he tried to sleep. One day it'll come for you. One day you'll lose everything. He'd look at his children playing in the courtyard, and instead of joy, he'd feel this heavy ache. I won't be here to see them grow. He'd touch the walls of his grand home and think, this won't matter when I'm gone. Worry ate at him, day by day. His body started to wither. He lost weight. His face grew pale. People around him couldn't understand. "What's wrong with you?" they'd ask. "You have everything." But how could he explain this invisible weight, this fear that gripped his heart and wouldn't let go? He tried everything. Doctors came and went, prescribing herbs and tonics, but nothing worked. The sickness wasn't in his body. It was in his mind, in his soul. Eventually, he took to his bed, too weak to even sit up, lost in his own dark thoughts. Then, a quiet afternoon, a wandering sadhu, a holy man, came to his door. You know, those people who just carry a kind of peace with them. That was this sadhu. His eyes were gentle, his smile easy, like he'd seen every sorrow in the world and still found a reason to laugh. The merchant, desperate, dragged himself to the sadhu's feet, tears streaming down his face. "Please," he begged, "help me. I'm dying not of any disease, but of this fear. I can't stop thinking about death. It's killing me every day." The sadhu listened. And then, can you believe it? He chuckled. Not a cruel laugh, but a soft, knowing one, like he'd heard this story 1,000 times before. "My friend, your illness has a simple cure, very simple." The merchant's eyes lit up, hope flickering in him for the first time in months. "What is it, Swami? Tell me. I'll do anything." The sadhu leaned in, his voice calm but firm. "Whenever the thought of death comes to you, whenever it grips your heart, say this to yourself, loudly, with all your strength. Until death comes, I will live with peace and joy. I will live fully. Do this for 7 days. I'll return after that." The merchant clung to those words like a lifeline. 7 days. He could do that. And so he began. Every time that cold fear crept in, and oh, it came often, he'd stop, take a deep breath, and say it out loud. Until death comes, I will live with peace and joy. At first it felt silly, almost forced, but slowly something started to shift.
Each time he spoke those words, it was like he was pushing back against the shadow, carving out a little space for light. By the third day, he felt a tiny spark of relief. By the fifth, he was sitting up in bed, eating a little more. And by the seventh, well, when the sadhu returned, he found the merchant on his feet, humming a tune, a faint smile on his lips. The man ran to the sadhu, falling at his feet. "Swami, you've saved me. Your medicine, it's like magic. I've realized something. Death will come when it comes. Until then, I'm alive. I'm here. Why waste this time in fear?" The sadhu smiled, placing a hand on his head. "My child, death itself only strikes once, but the fear of death, it can kill you every single day. Don't let it. Live while you're here." I've been thinking about that story a lot lately. You know, I was driving the other day, stuck in traffic, stressing about a deadline, and my mind started spiraling. What if I don't get this done? What if I fail? What if? And then I remembered this merchant, lying in bed, paralyzed by a fear of something he couldn't control. I took a deep breath right there in my car and muttered to myself, "Until that day comes, I'm going to live." It's not a magic fix, but it grounded me, made me notice the sunlight filtering through the windshield, the sound of a kid laughing in the car next to me. Isn't it strange, my friend, how we let fear steal so much from us, not just of death, but of failure, of loss, of not being enough? What if, like this man, we could step out of that shadow, even for a moment, and just be? Be here with the people we love, with the small joys of a warm cup of tea or a quiet evening. I don't have all the answers, but I think that sadhu was onto something. Death, or any end, will come when it comes. Until then, why not live? So, let's try it together, just for today. When that worry creeps in, let's whisper to ourselves, "I'm here now. I live with peace." And maybe, just maybe, we'll find a little more room to breathe. Thanks for sitting with me through this story. I'm glad we shared this moment. Until next time, take care of yourself, okay? I'll be here.